Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Tanner Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises for you, the entrepreneur, to help you become a better version of yourself for the people you love and care about most. That's what we're all about here. Personal improvement, becoming a better version of ourselves to feel good, to move good, and to support others along the way. So today we're going to get right into it and be a shorter episode. I just want to quickly talk about there are three main ways to make money in real estate. Just three. And I would argue you can pretty much put most of what's going on back into it from the actual real estate itself. Yes, there are going to be people who say, yeah, Tanner, you can be an attorney, though. You can be a real estate agent. You can be, but that's not actually investing in real estate. That's just providing a service for real estate. Either way you twist the arm. I pretty much nail it down to three ways, or this is how I've been educated by my mentors and my coaches. There's three ways, and it's best to focus on one at a time. And how does each market kind of affect that? How does that really work? So number one, the first one we're going to go over, this will give the most time and attention to because it's usually the most confusing, is wholesaling real estate. And this is usually the go-to move for a lot of people who are don't have a lot of money. They're trying to get into it. This is how I made my first initial amount of money in real estate, is wholesaling. What is wholesaling? So say there is a house, and then you find someone who owns that house and you say, I will buy that house off of you for $100,000. I will buy this house off of you for $100,000. And they're like, okay, yeah, that's great. You can buy this house for $100,000. And so I write up a contract to buy this house for $100,000. And then what I do is I put something called an assignment fee for finding the deal. And then I go sell this house to an investor, another one, someone who's a fix and flipper, someone who does buy and hold, the other two strategies we're about to get into shortly. And I sell this contract, the right to buy this property, for $110,000. So I bought it off of them for $100,000, and then I sell it to Mr. Investor for $110,000, and I make an assignment fee of $10,000. And you're like, Tanner, that can't be right. It can't be that easy. And you're right. It's not that easy. It's hard to find people to buy off of for cheaper than what an investor's willing to pay. That's usually the hiccup. It sounds like, oh, it's just a piece of paper, it's a couple signatures, and you're making $10,000. Well, it's not actually like that. You usually have to contact hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people to land one contract. So you got to be grinding all the fucking time. People do mass marketing. It's a very competitive industry. There is no easy money. If you can get that in your head, the sooner the better. Making a bunch of money is never easy, and it's never going to be easy. The get rich quick shit, it's a bunch of bullshit. But the concept is very good if you don't have a lot of capital starting up front, because you can go door knocking. You can call a bunch of people. It's a very low barrier to entry, and that's why it's recommended by so many people who are just getting into real estate, and they're like, hey, well, you're going to learn a lot about the business if you're kind of generating leads and you know how to find deals. Finding deals is the end all be all in real estate. I wish I would have known that much sooner. End all be all. Like finding deals, if anything. So wholesaling, again, this is where you get a contract on a house and then you sell that contract for more money. This is wholesaling. If you have more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. I love chatting about this shit. So don't mind talking about it more. That's wholesaling. Number two is fix and flip. Let's go ahead and get over to the board real quick. Good morning. So we have number one. We have wholesaling. Number 2, we have fix and flip. Fix and flip, this is essentially what you're doing here is you are buying a piece of property and you are renovating it, which we call forced appreciation. So say if I buy a property and I fix it up, I renovate one of the bedrooms, the kitchens, the bathrooms, all that good stuff, then that would be considered a fix and flip. Flip on the end being referring to you are selling the property at the end for a profit. Fix and flip. So this one's usually on the A&E and all the big Hallmark shows. This is one I would probably not recommend starting with. I would highly recommend starting with wholesaling if it's new, but just understand fix and flip. The reason why it's so hard is because the renovation times, nobody wants to be a contractor anymore. And there's just a lot of things that go into it, the timelines, the amount of capital needed. It can get very complex. There are ways that you can fund these deals with less money out of your own pocket. They're called hard money lenders. They're private lenders. You can use other people's money. There are ways to do it when you don't have a lot of money starting out, but that's when it gets a little more complicated and detailed. And I'd highly recommend having a conversation with, maybe you could reach out to me, or if maybe you know someone who's a local fix and flipper, I'd highly recommend talking to more and more people, because this is where a lot of people really get into deep shit and screw up, especially right now when it's really hard to sell a house. Probably not a good time to dump $200K into a single family home if you can't resell it, right? And you're not going to get a new loan on it because the interest rates have gone up a bunch. Okay, and the last thing, and this is my favorite, of course, to buy and hold. Buy and hold. So there are only 3 ways to make money in real estate. I don't care unless you're in a service-based business, and that's not even investing. These are the ways to be an investor. Number 1, wholesaling, selling contracts. Essentially, you get a contract cheap. I sell to Mr. Investor for more money. Fix and flip. I'm renovating. I'm forcing appreciation. I fix the kitchens, do the bathrooms, add an addition, resell it on the market, and buy and hold. And buy and hold. This is the sweet spot. This is how people become stupid rich, beyond wealthy. This is buy and hold is, I swear, this is how 9 out of 10 millionaires are made, from buying pieces of property and holding them for a long time. It's a long game. It's a slow game, but this is the end all be all. This is where you want to be. I promise you. I promise you, this is where you want to be. You want to be the buy and hold. So I'm talking about you buy, we have some duplexes, and I like these duplexes, and we are going to hold these suckers until we're old. And then we can give them to our kids. We can sell them like 30 years down the road, 40 years down the road. But we are going to we bought these duplexes, and then we're going to hold them for decades and decades, because property has done what over time? Gone up in value, rents go up over time, and then as we make up cash flow, we can fix it up. We can continue to fix it up, and we know fixing things up makes the value go out. But the buy and hold strategy is exactly what it sounds like. You buy real estate, and then you hold it for decades. Because if you're buying in a major city, right now, I pretty much have all of my investments in a smaller area, just starting out getting growing. But you want to be in bigger cities, metropolitan areas, but you got to have more money, and it takes better relationships. So transitioning into that over time. But buying and holding in bigger areas has proven to be the best money maker. If that's why you're doing it anyway, if you're doing this for money, then I would argue that the buy and hold strategy is probably your best bet. But if you're getting started out, you don't have a whole lot of money, I'd recommend wholesaling, kind of looking into that, just understanding the space is really competitive. You're going to have to bust your ass really hard, kind of getting out. That's how I did my first 3 real estate transactions I was a part of, with a closing table and doing all that with the attorneys and like legit. All 3 of them were through wholesaling. And then we got enough money to where did 1 fix and flip. Didn't really like that process. It was too hard. and it took too long. I'd rather make money doing my coaching business than run around fixing and flipping and stuff. It's a lot more intensive than I thought, but now I know that I'm not big on the fixing and flipping, and then taking the money that we've made from there and from like college and resources and family and stuff, and now we're doing just trying to buy and hold, and then not spending $1 of our cash flow and keep chugging it back into the machine to keep getting more properties to buy and more properties to hold. Because once you get like 6 or 7 properties and they're kicking out $2-3 grand a month in cash flow, you just take that money and then you keep putting it back into the houses. And then you take that money and you keep putting back as a down payment for a new house. And you take that money and you put it back in. And then you just act like, just like you would be investing in the S&P 500. So a lot of people talk about investing in the S&P 500. Of course, I think it's an amazing, amazing index. Everyone should have some, or at least max out your Roth IRA for the $6K every year. We're not going to talk about that today. But the S&P 500, it's just like that. Just how they tell you to pretend it doesn't fucking exist and just keep chucking money at it until you're 80 years old, and then bam, you can pay for your grandkids' college. You don't have to worry about retirement and all that kind of stuff. So I think you should treat real estate the same. Maybe have a full-time income starting out and then transition into it full-time, because rarely people ever have enough properties to actually kind of do it full-time. But as you're getting started, just make sure you're chucking all of the money back into it. That's what I would say. And these are the 3 ways that you can make money in real estate. I hope this was helpful. But yeah, this is kind of right on point. Cleo, girl, I'm going to need you to scram. All right, Instagram. I have a meeting in 12 minutes, so I got to run out of here. But you guys have an amazing, amazing, wonderful day. Cheers to you all. Remember, see which ones. And on our final note, I would say out of these 3, the wholesaling, selling contracts, fixing, flipping, renovating houses, or buy and hold, holding on to rental properties for decades, I would say pick one. This is something I freaking fucked up in the beginning. So excuse my language, because it's true. It's a lot to take in, and it's a lot to learn. And all of these spaces are extremely competitive. There's a good reason, right? People make billions of dollars in all 3 of those industries, billions. So it's like, of course, so focus. Just pick one at a time. Pick one. I don't do wholesaling anymore. I don't do fix and flips. I'm working on growing my coaching business. And then once we find deals and we get good money, we'll buy rentals. Of course, if there's some small things, cosmetic things like flooring and cabinets and painting and caulk and that kind of crap, we'll do that. But I'm not going to completely flip a house right now. I don't think it makes any sense for what we're doing in our goals. But you can make a ton of money fixing and flipping. If you're good at it, you like construction, you understand your market, dude, you can kill it. I have friends and clients who just make hundreds of thousands of dollars like every year just off of fixing and flipping like 4 or 5 houses. So it's totally doable. You can do it. It's just understand yourself and only pick one. Pick one. Focus. If you need help focusing, you can always talk to me, a life and business coach. You can work with someone. I always recommend everyone to have a coach. So if you need help or you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. But for now, I'm bouncing. Gotta go. You guys have an amazing, amazing, wonderful Thursday. Cheers to you all. And I'll see you back all here Friday morning, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time for another episode of the Talk to Tanner Morning Show. Hope you guys learned something. Cheers, friends. I'm out. Focus on one thing at a time. Have a great day.